Oh, there's. All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's get going here on session number 5. So this week we are going to recap a little bit of what we've talked about in the past, and the next couple sessions, probably the next 3 sessions, is going to be taking your plan and moving it forward. So so today we're going to talk about client referrals and agent-to-agent referrals, and kind of the importance of and how to maintain rewards and that sort of thing. So we're going to get into some discussion, and this is, I'm hoping, to be a little bit more of a roundtable discussion today. I've got some ideas, but you know, everybody's feedback is going to be important. So so in the last couple sessions, we've heard Jeff talk about the market in terms of the interest rates and everything else that's going to be potentially coming up in the not so distant future. You know, we've looked at the market trends as to you know, when the busy times are, and that everybody's hopefully starting to give some thought into what their next year is going to look like as well. And but today I want to talk the next 3 sessions. So this session, we're going to talk about client rewards and, you know, gifts and different things and ways to attract your clients to want to send you business. And then we're going to talk about agent-to-agent referrals as well, and how we can go out and get that kind of business. Next week is going to be canceled due to the golf tournament.
Oh, right.
And so so the golfers can golf and get ready and everything else. The next week, I'm going to actually have the marketing department come in. Probably Michaela is going to come in and do a kind of I think Gary's going to be involved with it as well, but we're going to kind of do a reboot a little bit as to all the marketing and the different options that they have, the different prices, the different packages, all of that. And so that you can then say, okay, well, this is what I get from the company now. Do I want to spend some more money in extra advertising or promotions in order to get my name out there a little bit more? And how is that going to look, and what kind of money is that going to be? So that when you're starting to work through your budget lines, you can have some of those numbers allocated in, so that you know, again, how much money you're going to have to make, kind of thing. Okay. Then the following week after that, we're going to you know, just kind of continue discussions a little bit, whether we cover it with Michaela, but if what we're going to talk about the following week is a continuation of marketing, and it's going to be to do with billboards and all the other self-promotional items that you know, that you want to get into as well. So this is the time of year, if you're going to choose calendars, you know, all that different kinds of stuff. Pros and cons, we'll talk about each one. Everyone's got their own strategies, their own ideas, good or bad. Some love calendars, some hate calendars. You know, but it's that kind of stuff, whether you do pens and all that kind of stuff, and how you use that product to get your name out and to sustain it. So that's going to be one of our final sessions on this particular package that I put together here. So so let's first start off with you know, business and clients and client rewards. So first question that I want to put out is, when we're talking closing gifts. So this is one of the first contacts that you'd have, or one of the last contacts that you'd have with your clients. And everybody wants to get a closing gift, or do you? So that's always the debate. Do I waste my money on a closing gift? Because I've already got the deal done. It's all done. Why do I need a closing gift? Why do they need a closing gift? So so feedback. What do you guys think on closing gifts? Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Dee Dee? Kaylee?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So the next question is, do you give it on possession date, or do you give it on another date shortly thereafter?
I do possession.
I guess it would depend on if you're with them on possession day as well too.
Okay.
If you are, I would do it then, and then if not, then I would meet up with them afterwards.
I did both of them. It depends if it is out of town in possession.
Okay.
In the city, if they're moving right away, I think the day after, or if they're just getting the keys,
Okay, so one of the things that we are, that we're doing within this business is we are building relationships, right? And so, again, right or wrong, depends on how you want to approach your clients. But here's just a little bit of, I'll call it food for thought. When you're building relationships on the day of possession date, when you're handing those keys over, is it a time of relaxation and tranquility and everything
No.
else? Or is it utter chaos?
Usually.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, emotionally mostly.
Okay, so the reason I ask about shortly thereafter, so this is something that I personally am starting to think about after 27 years, but with the thank you gift, I basically do we'll get to the gifts that I give kind of thing as well, but one of the things that I noticed each and every day that I hand over keys on possession dates are always a complete shit show. People are coming, they're going, they're panicking. The possession date time is supposed to be 11 o'clock. It's now, 12 o'clock because the money didn't get transferred around. Their movers are coming, and you have this gift of whatever value it is, and you hand it to them, and their response is, they take it and they set it down on the kitchen counter, or they take the whatever, throw it on the kitchen counter or in their vehicle, and that's it. And you never hear from them again. Very rarely will you might get a thank you. You might get an acknowledgement call on if they initiate it, but that's it.
Makes sense.
Do they appreciate it? Do they not appreciate it? Because they're focused 100% time on getting the possession. The movers are coming, shaw cable's coming, they got to get these people done. They got friends lined up down the street with trucks that they got to get moved in, and it's a gong show. Right? So that's the issue. That becomes the problem, and so on. So one of the things that I'm starting to think about is, do I want to maybe move my thank you gift from the day of possession until 2 days or 3 days after? Let them get in, let them get settled, and then you go over. So now it allows you to make one more connection with them in a time where they are more than likely a lot more calmed. They've had a couple, 3 days to get through their frenzy and get moved in, get settled in, get the wine is done, everything is done, and they're actually living in their house now. And that's when you go and you thank them personally again for the business and dealing with you. And you also at that point in time will talk to them about wanting to, about your referral and your referral program, which we'll get into in a bit here today. But it gives you a lot more. And I think at that point, the reaction that they're going to have is going to be a lot more receptive to the gift. They'll maybe, if it's a gift that they open, they may even have time to open it and acknowledge and say thank you at the time. Right? So an idea, it's just a concept, but to give it some thought. But some form of a thank you at the end of the transaction is something that's definitely worth it. Okay. So let's get into closing gifts a little bit, and let's talk about how much do you spend?
I haven't done one yet.
You haven't done one? Okay. Have you given any thought to what you might get?
I think that for my way of thinking is it would depend on the client. And then, since you're building a relationship, you would know their interests, or you'd be talking to them, kind of know like what they need or what they may like and whatnot.
Okay.
So I would base it more so on that. Like when Ashley got the house for me, she gave me a gift card to HomeSense, which is nice. But I actually forgot about it until this year. It was a year ago, right? Because that's not a place I shop at regularly.
Okay.
So I'm like, I would do it something more personal towards someone, whether it be like, if I know they love beer or whatever, then I'm like, maybe I get them a gift card to the brewery or something like that. It based off of whatever relationship I have with that person.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Listen.
Especially if they have kids, I like to get them something that's geared towards the kids. There's a book written by a Saskatoon author called H is for Home, and it's like all about living in Saskatchewan, and it's really good. So I always include that. And then I like something personalized, so I have a cutting board that I have personalized with my little branding on it. I should have brought one. I didn't know this is what we were talking about today. So usually that goes in there with like tea towels. And yeah, if they like wine or something like that,
Mhm.
something like maybe geared towards both parts of the couple, if that's the dynamic. And the book, and sometimes like a little spatula or something, and like a little, I don't know, gift. Then I had one client who moved here from Vancouver. He bought sight unseen. It was actually my first closed deal. I'd never met the guy. He just, the day I met him was the day of possession. So I bought him this book. It's called, can't think of what it's called right now, but it's also written by a Saskatchewan girl, and it's like all the things to do in Saskatchewan, and like kind of like history, and it has recipes, and just like kind of a unique way to like bring him to Saskatchewan. And yeah, so I think, yeah, it varies on who the client is and like kind of their story and why they're here and what they're doing and what their family dynamic is. And
Mhm.
yeah, but I like to have something also personalized in it that they remember.
Remember.
Yeah, without like looking at my card or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very bad at gifting, so I experimented on the knives. I found them very expensive,
Mhm.
Costco,
Okay,
but they're very easy. I put them in a little
Big.
fancy, bag and my business card, and I ran out. And then if you experiment on Costco gift packages, I know for the other deals I have, my wife's putting, creating some sort of gift basket for the other 3 deal I have.
Mhm.
I heard giving knives is bad luck.
I know.
That's
Really?
what told, I got knives, like, and my friend told me that it
Somebody's
was
calling me,
bad luck to give knives to someone as a gift.
okay,
I like the knives thing. I'm just
Mhm.
like not there financially to invest in getting a whole bunch, but I
Mhm.
think eventually I will, because we have Cutco knives and they are best.
Mhm.
I think like the engraving on them is a really good thing, because like everybody uses knives. And every time you look at it, if you see my name, well, maybe it's like in hate.
I was
but-
gonna say, oh, I guess in 2 ways.
Maybe it's not, maybe it's like, this is the best knife ever,
okay.
right? So I don't know, it just kind of depends. Eventually I would like to get some
Mhm.
knives.
Okay,
I know.
Her knife?
Yeah.
yeah, okay, and Dee Dee just posted here that she spends about $100 to $200 depending on the deal,
Mhm.
value wise, so
Yeah.
roughly, how much would you say you've spent on your last couple?
Roughly 100,
Around 100?
yeah.
Peters?
100 to 180 bucks probably average.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, and is it value, like when Dee Dee says 100 to 200, and Dee Dee, maybe you could let me know where and why, when you say depending on the deal, is there a cutoff, a magical number as to, if it's a $200,000 house, they get $100. If it's over 200,000, they get 200, that kind of a thing. Is that where you're spending, or is it just kind of?
Yeah, kind of depending on what I make. Like if I'm only making, 3,000, then maybe I just do 100. If I've got a $5,500 commission, I'll do 200. So kind of depends what I'm getting.
Okay,
And what you probably spent throughout the transaction too.
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
there were lots of turmoil and stuff that the client maybe had to go through, maybe you give them something a little more, just because like.
Yeah.
This took a little more to get to where you are now,
Mhm.
and like recognize that,
okay.
or if it was like high stress.
Are gifts expected by clients?
I wouldn't say they're expected, but it's very
Okay.
possible
Mhm.
that I think a lot of agents are expected to give something at the end of the transaction.
Mhm.
So great service and smiles aren't enough anymore.
Mhm.
So, but again, that's one of the reasons why we're kind of talking about this today, and because I don't necessarily believe that it's the value of the gift that you're giving. Like you can give them $1,000 cash if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's more the thought that goes into the gift than it is for the actual gift. So like Dee Dee says, she spends 100 to 200. I give, it'll vary depending on the client as well. But I have found that the reaction for some of my gifts that I give, because I'm more of the look for the connection that the client has with you, kind of like what you explained.
Mhm.
And so the reaction to clients that I've given a gift that's worth $40 is amazing, because there's that connection that was in that deal,
Yeah.
that it was good. Sometimes it's sometimes you get that same reaction with $100, $200 gift, whatever, because there's that connection. Sometimes I've been in I'm guilty of the gift card of the $200. I usually do a 200. Sometimes if I'm in a rush and then we never made that connection, I'll get them a gift card to like a MasterCard gift card or something. And those ones I never hear anything back. It's just, it's kind of like you with your HomeSense.
Yeah.
The thought was nice,
Yeah.
the gesture was great, but reality is, and I choose that. Then I started to go away from the MasterCard stuff, and I went to more restaurants. And but you have a hard time picking a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
So now they've got gift cards that have there's a new one that I just discovered at the Co-op, and it's a Saskatoon restaurant gift card, and it's got Boston Pizza, it's got Red Lobster, it's got State and Maine, it's got a whole bunch of other ones.
Those first 2 restaurants are terrible.
So, but those are ones, and so depending on the restaurant, and I think so there's about 5 or 6 different restaurants that are in there, so they could have. Now, I just bought one for one of my clients along with another little gift, and I just got a phone call that the card didn't work.
Oh,
So they were in Boston Pizza,
yeah.
and they said, yeah, this is we went to pay and the card didn't work.
Oh, shoot.
So
That's
now
awkward.
Yeah.
basically that's where I'm headed after this, is to go pick up the card and I'll just give him cash to pay for his meal and move on. But yeah, you got to kind of watch with the gift card thing, right?
Mhm.
So okay. So Dee Dee, what kind of gifts do you normally give?
It kind of depends on the client. Like if it's a family, I've given them dinner out for all of them and then a movie for all of them. Single gal, I gave her like Prairie Grazer stuff with wine and just a whole gift basket of, things. Single guy, I gave him a gift card for dinner and then a travel gift certificate. And it all depends on the client.
Okay.
I like the Prairie Grazer like charcuterie box thing if you're doing on possession, because it's just like a box of like snacky foods that they can have out while they're like coming and going through the hustle and bustle.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
local.
did too.
Yeah, local,
What's it called?
the Prairie Grazer.
It's not cheap though, I'll tell you that.
Not, no.
And prosthetic.
Save for a later date. That's what I have with the knives. Maybe my goal for next year will be to reach enough commissions that I'll buy the Cutcos.
I know, when they called me and I was like, it looks really nice, the
Mhm.
knives are good looking, so,
Mhm.
but she did, what is it, monthly payment for me, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's-
Otherwise, like 2,500 for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, cause yeah, you have to like lump sum order them
Mhm.
for it to pay.
It's my commission, I get a.
Yeah, there's one house deal.
Yeah.
Pay for your knives. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's really where the again, that's kind of really where the how much do you spend and what do you do and how do you tie some of these in. Now, in listening to the Cutco presentation kind of thing, it's all about a one-time deal. It's not, it's actually a continuation. So as they do other things, and this is what we're going to talk about in a little bit as well, is that client referral component. So we'll get to that in the next couple of slides here. So now Dee Dee or anybody, Kaylee, do you have anything in your repertoire right now that is company branded or name branded?
I don't know, Dee Dee. No.
I don't.
Okay, anybody here?
I have.
Well, Cutco would be, you'd have those personalized to you.
Yeah, I have the Cutco one and I have the.
Cutting board.
Cutting board, yeah.
Mhm. In the shape of a house.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Split
cute.
level or bungalow?
1.5 story.
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
the cute little like
Yeah.
typical house shape.
Okay.
Where do you get the cutting boards, Alyssa? Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that. I ordered them through Heather, so like I work for Heather Kehoe and she does them. So she's
Okay.
and she's like, do you want to order some of these? And I was like, well, yeah, I do. So she did it. So I'll have to ask her.
I got a call from the company who was doing it.
Yeah, I got the call too,
Mm,
like a while ago, a couple
Yeah.
months back.
Yeah,
yeah.
and the minimum 25 orders. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
And let me guess, the sales pitch kind of went like, we had this big company, BMW or whatever, had this promotion and we had an extra allotment
Yeah.
in the box and we can offer
Today's
you
price.
today's price. We can
Yeah.
break them down into whatever, but minimum orders are 25 and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the sales pitch kind of went like that. Yeah, I think everybody gets those, but those, you know, if they,
And
if
they
they're
are
affordable
good. Yeah.
and you like them, then
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Very nice.
Okay, so then going on to some closing gifts. So again, we've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but closing gifts can be generic or unique to the client. And this is what Jamie was talking about. But so some of the ideas, the Cutco knives, there's a fruit basket, a bouquet of fruit that you can get.
Mm.
And those are very tasty. There's a company in Saskatoon that you can actually order fruit baskets from, and you get them all chocolate dipped, or you get an actual, it looks like a flower arrangement that comes in a vase and everything else, but it's all fresh fruit.
Mhm.
And those are nice charcuterie boxes. I've used the charcuterie boxes quite a bit last year and a little bit this year, depending on the client. But I opt to go the gift route. And so you can get a gift card from Prairie Grazer. And I like to do that because, again, when they're moving, a lot of this stuff is and I discovered that this year when I bought one for myself when we went to Wasaga. We were going to buy one for the rooms. We bought it and took it up there and we didn't get to it right away.
Right.
And
It's perishable.
and then it's just
Yeah.
like, ugh, it was still good, but some of the stuff had soaked in the moisture and it's supposed to have been nice and crispy, and it was soft and chewy.
Yeah.
So, but so what I will do is I'll get the gift card or gift certificate. It's an online piece you can email to them, and what I'll do is I'll go in and buy enough for 4 to 6, and I'll say, along with the other gift that I give, I'll say, here is in your email inbox as is a gift card for the Prairie Grazer. And I've given, it's $100 gift card or whatever the amount that you're going to give. And you can use that for your housewarming gift or housewarming party. So when you have your big party, you can get the big charcuterie board and put it out and they're like, oh, thank you. And I've had some really good responses and they've actually had them and used them for their housewarming.
Mhm.
And I said, if you're not big house partiers, because when I was doing it back when COVID was still there, I said, you're probably not going to do that. But I said, the really cool thing about the Prairie Grazer is they also have the movie night packages. And so there's enough in there to buy a couple movie nights over the next little while. So if it's just, you guys want to sit down and have a nice romantic evening kind of a thing, then you can order a movie night package and enjoy that.
Yeah, that box is really good. I'm looking at it right now.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's really cool.
So that's a great, that's a great thing. A special bottle, like if they enjoy their single malt scotch. I'm not sure why anybody would, but apparently there are people out there that like to lick the side of a wood barrel, but it is what it is. It's an acquired taste, but if they have rum or if they have whiskey or rye or beer or anything like that, add that into the package. If they have a special wine that they like, that sort of stuff. So I'm a firm believer. One of the other things that I do, my wife actually does custom hand stitch cards. And so what I'll do is I've got a special design just for me, and it's got a picture of a house on it and it's all hand stitched. And then at the bottom is the possession date of their house. And then after that, then inside is my little handwritten note that I give along with the gift. And I've had some clients that have actually taken that and actually framed it because it's art. And also I find that a lot of if you give a little bit more into the local artists as well, lots of that kind of stuff goes over very, very well. So there's a little bit more thought given into or perceived thought that's given into the gift. It's not just a walk to the co-op and grab a gift card and toss a card and here you go.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more thought. You can have a lot of these packages already pre-made up. And if you go into Prairie Grazer in the store, there's a bunch of little tiny, there's a whole, I think there's like 5 or 6 shelves that they have a whole bunch of stuff that they put in the boxes, but you can buy separately
Right.
from different artists and different things, and you can buy them and do up your own little basket of personal stuff, and then make a little note in there about who the artists are, do a little bit of research and stuff like that. People love that kind of stuff as well, right? So it's all of that, where if you take the time to give and then that, and have that personal connection, that's where you're probably going to get the best bang for your buck in terms of gifts given to clients. Okay,
Prairie Grazer, right?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Prairie Grazer.
Yeah, the company. Yeah.
Prairie
That-
Grazer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one you're going mostly to.
Yeah, there's other charcuterie places, but there's Prairie Grazer. They have a nice place up on 61st Street or something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anybody else have anything to add in terms of the closing gifts?
Do clients ever compare, like if you refer people, do you think they ever compare the gifts that you got for them?
Some,
Mm.
yeah. There's gonna be,
Yeah, like some people go up so above and beyond and give like this big elaborate thing.
Mhm,
So in comparison to like a gift card to, MasterCard gift card, just.
mhm.
no offense
Actually-
to you.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just saying,
that's
just
good.
comparing the two.
Yeah.
They probably do top. Like if me and my
Mhm.
best friend did that and our realtors did one of each, it'd be like, well, what did you get? What did you get?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my realtor was lazy. Or, it's just like a little. But
Mhm,
It's actually very stressful giving a gift for me.
mhm.
You never know what they're gonna react to.
mhm.
How they're gonna receive it, yeah.
Yeah. Giving the key is the easiest, you walk through the house, see everything's good,
Mhm.
that's it, and gift is, oh my God.
Mhm.
That's something that I wanna use it.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Because it's the lasting impression that you're gonna leave on that person, so it can be received either positively or negatively, right? Depending on how they react towards it. So I get it.
That's
What
that's
else?
my favorite part, shopping for the gift.
Yeah, me too.
I like doing that.
I can help you with that.
just
I can be your personal shopper.
give us a credit card and we're
Yes,
gone.
I'll help you.
You'll never see her again.
That's
Yeah.
somebody else in this office orders pizza for their clients. I can't think of who it is, but on moving day, probably will.
Yeah. You've got an in.
But yeah, like on possession day, I think that'd be like a good thing. Like you give them their keys and then you like take their order, be like, are you expecting movers today? Or you have family and friends coming to help you move in today or tomorrow, whatever, and be like, pizza's on me. Here's a case of pop and a case of beer to go with or whatever. I think that's a cool thing too. It's just like, I don't know, just like something you actually thought about doing.
Mhm.
I have a story. I had a realtor down in Palm Springs just last May. I sold my condo down there, and she didn't even so much as send me a thank you, like even by email, never mind a gift. So that really made me think twice about ever using her again, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's where the gesture is there, but again, this is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest issues, because again, Idris is a little uncomfortable with the gift or what to get and that sort of thing. So, and this is where, again, as you get to know your clients, that's that lasting piece. And that's why if you go back to the previous slide, is when you give it, right? So you give it in the chaos, or do you give it when you can sit down and talk to them? And I think it was Gary that was talking about, even on a possession date, when there's other little things that pop up that were supposed to have been there, like a garage door remote control or different things, right? So it's how you handle your client from start to finish, but when is that transaction finished? So, lots of times agents are very scared to phone their clients a week after possession date, because they're afraid that they're going to go, wow, and then they start bumbling and complaining about stuff that they found in the house and whatever else. So, phoning your client, and this is where, if you have that closing gift and you book a meeting with them or a quick drop by a couple days after possession date, once they're settled in, you can go in, you can have a talk with them and again, reconnect now that they've come in, they've settled and everything is good. That's when you can make that connection. When you give that gift, there is that piece, but then you can also talk to them about how did the move-in go? And then if there's any issues, and say, you know what, let me help you with that. I've got a guy, or I know somebody, or let me look into it for you, and you become that problem solver as well. So, and you're more than just that transaction agent, which is what Dee Dee, I think, is just explained happened to her down in Arizona.
Right.
So
It's actually exactly what happened. Yeah, the story you said. Guy's just talking about what's happening in the house right now. There are some plumbing issues he wants me to fix. But I got him some keys, but they didn't bring the keys. So,
Mhm.
I mean, after 2 weeks, I got him keys and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I spent about $300 on that guy.
Yeah.
Is it reasonable so far? I mean, the gift and the keys.
yep. See, with keys,
Hopefully you'll get a referral out of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
so it's when you take care of your clients, and sometimes some clients are only going to cost you $50 in the end. Some might cost you $200 or $300 to keep them happy. But you really got to watch though, when you're dealing with problems after possession date with clients, because it can be like the hardest thing is to want to get to help and to give. And the more you give, it's like you take your wallet and you open up your wallet in a windstorm, and you might have had $500 in there or $1,000 in there, but the minute you open up that wallet and start helping, the wind or the vacuum just takes all the cash out and you're done. Before you know it, you're into it for a couple $1,000 when that should never have been you that had that problem. It's now it's from the seller, but because the seller walked away, it becomes you thinking that you should be the one to take on that repair and pay for the repair. If it's something minor, maybe a couple $100, whatever, and you step up and you do that, that's one thing. But when you start repainting and redoing a whole bunch of different things, that becomes a whole different story. So you got to kind of there's a little bit of a fine line that you got to kind of watch there. Because if the agents know, or if the buyers or your client basically know that you're willing to pay for stuff, they'll just keep coming to you. You'll be like that home warranty that just keeps paying, right? So you got to watch a little bit on that kind of a thing. But the other thing too, another gift that I have done in the past, and again, this is more of a personalized gift, is clients that are very paranoid about how many keys are out there. Or you have situations where the garage door is one key, the back door is another key, the deadbolt's one key. So you're ended up with 4 or 5 different keys. And so if you phone a locksmith and say, I've got these many locks, how much is it going to cost me? And if you build that relationship up with a locksmith, how much is that going to cost me for you to come in and rekey everything to one key? And they say, well, it's going to cost $250 or $300, whatever. And you say, you know what? Okay. So then on possession date, you give them a card and then basically just say, you know what, when we were doing the walkthroughs and that sort of thing, you're concerned with how many keys, who has them, safety. Part of what I want to do is I want to have a solid peace of mind. So I have ordered a locksmith to come in, and they're going to come in, they're going to change over all your locks and put all the same keys to the same lock. And so you'll have one key instead of 5, and you will be the only one with the key. And I've taken care of it for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Right. So it's unique things like that as well that can become a great piece. So the only thing when you're dealing again with condos, you got to watch, because condos have master keys. And so when you get it rekeyed, you got to make sure that it's rekeyed with the master key component in it. So
yeah, that'd be good for one of those clients where you don't know what to buy them.
Yeah.
It's like a nice gesture instead.
Yep. And some of them, if you have those electronic keys and stuff like that, and people have no idea how to do it. Locksmith guy will come in, he'll reprogram it for you as part of it and change over change over the key component to it as well. And they love it. That's another one of those unique kind of gifts. But again, it all depends on the client.
And one last thing on their to-do list.
Absolutely.
Like, ooh.
So you have to be a little smart. how can I gift, I guess.
A little more creative.
Yeah, I could just eliminate that gift I bought, and I just wait. I should have waited for the key situation to be resolved, and then if it wasn't there, I would have, gotten the new keys. Like,
Yeah.
and saved myself.
Yeah, and depends on how many locks have to be changed over. It's, not necessarily a big thing, right? So, and the locksmiths go right to the house. It's cheaper if you take the locks to them, but they will come right to the house and go from there. So, phone different locksmiths, build a relationship and see what kind of deals you can strike and then away you go. So, okay. Any questions on closing costs?
Closing gifts.
Yes, or closing gifts, sorry. Okay, so we're okay with all of that then. So let's move on to client referrals. Okay, so now you've given the closing gift. Now you've given, you said goodbye to your clients and so on and so forth. One of the conversation pieces that you should have right at the end, while the experience is still fresh and great in their minds, is you need to talk to them about client referrals. If you have a program for client referrals, then you need to ask them for business, because right now, through the process of buying or selling a home, they are talking to all their friends, not about you, but about the process. And in some cases, the conversation will come up, well, who are you using? And if the experience is really positive, then they'll say, well, I'm using Idris. Great. Can you mind if I give him a call? Because I'm dealing with Bob, and Bob, he's just not that great. He's not doing the things that you're telling me that your agent is doing. So I'll give Idris a call. And but after the point, now they don't talk about buying a house anymore with any of their friends, but you need to have that conversation continue after you actually are done the transaction. So one of the ways that you need to start working is your client referrals. And this is the part of, if you think back to our first session, we talked about the pie wheel in terms of where your business is coming from. Your sphere of influence should be a large portion of that business as your years get into this business. So as you start to get that referral business, so in that end, when you give over that gift and you hand over the keys, are 2 points, whether it be the same period of time or 2 separate points, you need to give them, you need to ask for the business. And it's a simple comment about, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I have a referral program. So if you happen to come across anybody that's thinking about buying or selling a home, if you refer them to me, then this is what I will give you. And it's like a points reward. However you guys want to set it up, it becomes here's and I pay a finder fee. And so when you pay that finder fee, all of a sudden it perks up. And the only thing you don't want to give is cash, right? Because cash talks. Cash is a great thing, but cash is hard to track and give for income tax purposes. So if you've got 12 referrals that you're giving out at $100 a pop, let's say as an example, that's $1,200 that you can't write off. Right. So you want to give something you can write off and at the end of the year. So again, what kind of a thank you do you give? Right. So, it might be something like I had one year, a lady that really, really wanted to go on a holiday, but really couldn't afford it. And I said, well, and she was right at that right age where lots of her friends were starting to buy and sell and everything else. So I said, I'll tell you, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you a $200 MasterCard gift card for every referral that you send me, and we'll go from there. She sent me 5 referrals in a year.
Paid for a trip.
And she collected each $200 gift card, and then she took each of the MasterCards and went down and went on a holiday, along with a little bit of her extra money. And she took that week holiday that she really wanted to take.
That's cool.
Right. So, but how and what you do. So like if you're going back to the Cutco, somebody that really wants those knives, say, you know what, you give me a referral, each referral, I'll give you a different knife piece. Or you can give a building referral up. So, your first referral, I'll give you something in value of $50, and this is what you can pick from.
Mhm.
And if you do two, then it kicks you up to the next level, and that's now $100, and this is what you can pick from. So it's kind of like that points reward program of anything that you want to buy. The more you do, the more you get. And then at the end, it could be a trip down to Dee Dee's office, and maybe it's a part of a trip that you pay for.
Mhm.
Or we have RCI certificates here, which are less than $300. So at the end of their 5th referral or whatever, maybe they get a 1-week holiday on you,
Mhm,
right? Less than $300, that could be the plateau,
mhm,
and after 5 referrals.
mhm.
So what are those platforms you use for the gifts? The gift cards, or the MasterCard you're talking about, like, where do you get them?
The gift card, well, the MasterCard gift cards, you can buy co-op, basically any gas station. They have the gift card in Walmart. They got a whole rack of different cards that you can get.
Oh,
And then with the MasterCards and the Visas, they're prepaid. So whatever the amount is, and you pay for it. With the Visas and MasterCards, depending on the value of the card, there's an activation fee that you have to pay. So if you spent $200, I think it's $7 activation fee that you got to pay on top of the $200 gift card. But again, it's depends on what your clients are needing. And I'll say that there's always things that you want to buy for your house now. And so if you refer one of your friends or family to me and they buy something, then I'll give you the gift card and you can collect them and go buy your patio furniture that you want, or your barbecue that you need, or put it in a bigger ticket item, so that one referral just isn't going to be enough to get that. And so those are things that you kind of look back on and say, okay, this is, so if it's one, not enough to buy what I want to buy, so I got to come up with 2 or 3. And as they reward more people, then you sweeten the pot a little bit.
So what is the reasonable, what is the maximum you can go for? I actually asked this question. Gary said don't go more than 300. I mean, if it was a cash.
Yeah.
Well, I had a situation like this, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like Dee Dee, depends on where the commission value that they're looking to buy. But I would say around $100 would be a good starting point. And then if you're getting lots of deals, you might kick it up to 150 to 200. Kind of have that the more deals you do, the more that you have.
And the value of the deals one too.
Exactly. If they're sending you deals that are basically little 1-bedroom apartments for $130,000 or $100,000, a $200 gift card is almost 25% of your commission.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a little steep, right? So that might be a thank you. You don't want to belittle because that's the person that they sent.
Mhm.
So you might take a little bit of a hit, but you'll make it back for the next one that they sent you, a $500,000 buyer, and your commissions are significantly more. So that's where it sort of balances out long term. Don't think it as a per transaction. Think of it as a long term process kind of a thing. So
Okay, so question here. Do you give the gift card right after the referral or after the transaction?
I think I would wait till it closes.
Yeah.
The transaction's done.
yeah, it depends on how and what kind of referral that you're giving, like money. So in some cases, it might be a thank you, like a quick little $10 gift card to acknowledge the referral.
Mhm.
Oh,
And just as something, if it doesn't go through, you're only out $5, $10, but you're giving them something for thinking of you.
Yeah, so they'll do
And-
it again.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
once it closes and you get your paycheck, that's when you have the extra money. Then you go back and say, you know what? Here's the next, here's your first referral reward, and go from there.
Mhm.
cool. Makes sense.
Even if someone sent you, like, they referred someone to you who, like, was just not an ideal client, would, like someone who just, like,
Yeah.
doesn't have pre-approval, or someone who,
Yeah.
is in bankruptcy or something like that, would you still give them the thank you? Like,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, they tried,
yeah,
right? That's the thing. They tried, and
Yeah, they might not know their financial situation or
Right.
something, right?
yeah,
How they're business wise, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's the whole thing, right? So that's all about acknowledging the referral for starters, and then from there it's because you want that business, because you can do the best job you've ever done, and the best job, they may have had 5 agents in the past, and you outperform every one of them. But then if you don't stay in touch with them or don't do stuff with them after the transaction, the return rate is going to be very, very minimal, and they're not going to refer, and you're going to become the best secret agent out there. So, so it's very, again, it's very important. And so keeping also on top of mind with these, so once every 6 months, once a year, whatever you want to do, once every month might be a little heavy, but once every 6 months is a good time to send out a little email that just reminds them of the program. And and if they've done some referrals, then you'll keep notes and say, you know what, I just wanted to once again thank you for the referral, but just remind you that I've updated or I've done some changes, or just want to refresh your memory on the referral, and this is what it is.
Mhm.
Right. So it's all about staying in touch with your clients.
Right.
Okay. So then it goes on here. What do you get them? Again, it's similar to the closing gifts as to what you want to do and how you want to set it up. But again, it's important to have that reward.
Mhm.
If you look at it, all the banks now, all the stores, lots of them are having their little rewards. Shoppers, Drug Mart has their reward program
Yeah.
as to pay back.
Yeah.
We are no different than that.
Mhm.
Okay.
They just have a base of, billions of dollars to start.
Right. And you're always making money, right?
The
So
rich get richer.
Yeah, right.
it's funny. I had an interest, this goes back many years ago, but I had an interesting conversation with a Remax agent at one time. And we're talking referrals, which gets on to our next agent-agent referral. And the agent was saying, I said, referral business is great. I love it. And he looks at me and he says, why do you want referral business? And I said, why would I not? And he says, you know what, if I'm going to do a deal and I got to come back from the lake or from my holiday or wherever, and I got to do a deal and I got to turn around and pay 25% of it to the other agent, then why would I want to waste my time?
Oh my gosh, you get 75%.
Exactly. And I said, why would I not want that business? I said, it's 20, I got to pay out 25%, but you know what? I'll pay that 25% out all day long because I'm getting 75%.
Starting out especially, it's like,
Yeah.
of course, that's 75% of a commission you didn't have before that agent gave it to you.
Absolutely. And if worked properly, the agent to agent referral business can become a very lucrative, I'll call it a side business, but it will become a very lucrative business if worked properly. Okay. And so agent to agent referral business is business that first can start off within the office. Agent's too busy, has too many buyer leads. They give you the lead, say, here it is, if it works out to be something, pay me 25% referral, and you continue on. That's one way of looking at referrals. The other one is agent to agent business that are not within this office. Those would be the Century 21s from Calgary, the Century 21s from Regina, from PA, those kind of things. Those are the ones that you want to go after. Because that, once you get your connections made, and it's going to be something that, just like looking for new agents or looking for new clients, you're looking for new agents. And those would be little stop by, little drop bys, little emails, phone calls, whatever, to other offices, asking and talking directly to other agents to start. As it will not be, I'll guarantee it will not be an instant, oh, James, that's great. I want to use you. Here's a referral. It doesn't work like that. It becomes, you need to be top of mind. One thing that Century 21 does that is a great starting point is when you start going to conventions.
Next year, go on.
It's in Calgary next year. They have, and I got to check with Gary because it's with COVID and things like that. I'm not sure how things work now, But as a new agent, it's tough to pay the bill to fly all the way out to St. John's and have all the room costs and everything else and then drive back. But next year it's in Calgary. And Calgary is a 5-hour drive. Yeah, you'll have a couple nights of hotel rooms and different things that you'll have to, save
Write
up
off.
for, but you can work it into your budget, and it definitely is a write-off. And but it is worth they usually have a welcome for newbies. So if it's your first time ever, they will have a networking time and day and night that's just for newbies. So then you can go and you can back
in the day.
back before COVID, they used to have a little button and it said newbie or first timer, I think is what it said on it. But it allowed you to make those connections, and so they have great networking opportunities. Yeah, there's partying and drinking, and I know none here enjoy any of that kind of stuff. So you're all non-drinkers and stuff, so that's awesome.
Mhm.
But the key is though that you're getting in and you're starting to talk and meet other agents, and you start those connections, and then you come back and then you start and you stay in touch with them. The next time you go to one of these conventions or to any function, or even just drop by the office. If you're down in Regina, you stop by the Dome office, introduce yourself, hand out some cards, maybe buy a box of donuts, put it in the break room, throw your business cards on the beside it kind of a thing, and say, have a donut on me, and go from there kind of thing. Right. So there's different ways, you can tie in a little bit of a family holiday with with a little bit of business, or make a special trip, drive down Regina and meet some of the people down there kind of thing. So it's a great source. Dee Dee, what is 25% of the total commission or the net? It would be the total commission. So, and again, I was flabbergasted at this agent, and so jokingly I said to him, I said, if you get any of these referrals and you don't want them, send them to me. I will pay the other agent 25%. I'll give you 10% just for sending it to me.
Mhm.
Right. So, and that's where you kind of, some agents, the mindset is, I don't want to give because, but again, in the right place, the more you give, the better and quicker your business grows. And you talk to some of the agents, like you talk to Lisa Mueller, you talk to Roger Schmidt, you talk to Barry Chiliak. The business, like I think this year, even for myself, I think I've got 4 or 5 closed deals that have been agent to agent referrals. I get a phone call and it's Jason, Bob and Nancy are coming in. They're flying in. They're going to start buying a house. They need to buy a house within the next week. So those are the agent to agent referrals. Or I got so-and-so that they want to list, go over and list their house for them.
Mhm.
Right. Those are the great referrals. And that's that agent to agent referrals. You're qualified, they're ready to go, and that connection is made, and so you can start to get it. You never know. Like there's different referral programs. Like there's the they don't call it Royal LePage Relocation anymore. It's BSCN or something like that, and they handle all the military and military RCMP relocations across Canada, and you can just put your name on there. And there's a slight possibility that you might get a phone call.
Mhm.
I've been on that for 25 years. This year, I got my very first phone call.
Oh, wow.
So, and I said it wasn't an agent to agent referral. It was somebody on that website
Mhm.
that was looking. And it was, I'll never forget it. It was a Saturday morning at 9:30 in the morning. I was just having my second cup of my morning coffee. My phone rang, and it was a Toronto number. And if you guys, anybody here has ever received a Toronto phone call, it's usually somebody selling Google or anything like that. I almost hit ignore.
Mhm.
But I figured, it's, I was feeling good. I was into my halfway through my second coffee. So I picked it up and I said hello. And I was expecting the sales pitch to kick in. Well, the delay first before
Yes.
they go, oh, shit, somebody
Automated.
actually answered.
Yeah.
And then they pick up and start talking. And it was this guy, and he started talking, and he had some questions about real estate, and I said, oh, what do you do? And he says, I'm with the military. I'm out in Trenton right now, and I'm moving here. I'm going to be out at Camp Dundurn. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so we started talking. I said, so how did you get my name? And he says, well, I'm just on the relocation website and your name was there. And I said, well, how did you pick my name?
Mhm.
And because I thought, oh, maybe I should tweak it up a little bit more. And he said, well, I started off by picking the office that was closest to Camp Dundurn.
Oh, mhm.
And I'm like, okay. And so we geographically were the closest. And then basically he just went through the list and somehow, and I think he was just too lazy to go to the top of the page again because he just started reading through everybody and go, vote, last name, good enough. I'm out, right? And I think that's, but again, your name's on there and some cases it just happens. So getting on to those kind of referrals as well, but most of the stuff, the agent to agent referral business is key. And now 25% is the kind of the industry average or, kind of standard, I guess, is that referral base that it goes out. But there are other agents out there that will offer a little bit more. So they might top it to 30%. I'll pay you 30% referral if you send me the business. And so agents that, want more money, they go, oh, 30%, that's great. I've also heard of agents that they run a program where it's a client for life and or basically a referral for life. So you send me a referral and I'll pay you 25%
Every time.
as long as I'm in the business. Every time that person does a deal with me,
Mhm.
I'll send you 25%. If it's a list and a sell and that's one transaction, I'll send you the referral, but I'm not gonna, or you can say, I'll do it on every transaction, every buy, every sell that they do. As long as I'm in the business, you'll get a referral check. And as long as you're in the business as well,
Right.
then you'll get a referral check.
Mhm.
Right. So there's different ways to look at how to get that referral business. And it's a great, it is a very good, if you talk to Lisa Mueller, I know she gets quite a few referrals from other agents across Canada.
Mhm.
And right now there's going to be, if the trend continues, we could see a lot of the Torontos and that investment money that's starting that's there that they want to invest. Saskatchewan is still a great place. And so again, that's what really happened with us in 2007 and 8 when we had that boom year. Interest rates were high, comparable to now what we are now, and we had some of our best years. But a lot of the money, a lot of the business and how and why it boomed the way that it did was because the people from Ontario that had the money that couldn't afford into that market, or the market was crashing and they wanted to make some quick turns. Same with Calgary, Edmonton. There was lots of that market, that money from outside of Saskatchewan. People had no intentions of ever living in the property. They were just buying, fixing and flipping. And they were making money. Yeah. So that's a great, that agent to agent referral. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the connections. And we hear, I think it was Lisa Coble that just posted, does anybody know an agent in Ottawa or something like that? Right. Again, that's where you can say, you know what? Yes, I know. And then you can give that name and tell them that I sent you. So then you'll get a little thank you or phone call or text say, no, thanks for sending Lisa to me and greatly appreciate it. Right. So those referral contacts happen and it works the same way. In their office out in Ottawa, they say, you know what, I got somebody relocating into Saskatoon. Does anybody know anything? Boom, up comes a name and Idris gets the deal.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about working that agent to agent referral. And that's just another piece of the puzzle that you guys need to start to do. And as your business starts to grow, then you start getting more of that kind of business. And it's way more enjoyable working that kind of business but it takes time. It is something that does not just, it's not like a little on-off toggle switch. It takes time to build the reputation and the rapport, the relationships, everything else.
I have to leave though.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Are we past right on. Perfect.
Not that I'm not enjoying the conversation.
Well, we're done actually. So
Oh,
that was the last slide. So any questions on anything from today?
no, it was actually very informative.
Mhm.
Very,
Very
helpful.
helpful.
Like, give everyone some credit.
Oh, even better than Jeff's?
Yes.
Nice.
Well, he brought donuts, so I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
See, bribery, it works
Yeah.
for everybody.
Exactly.
thank you very much.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right. And Any questions from Zoom land?
No, no questions.
Okay.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, thanks. Well, next week, remember, we're not here next week for the golf tournament, but we'll be
Right.
back the following week.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, thanks, everybody. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Bye.
Perfect, Jason.